The new men believe in clean starts, in fresh beginnings, in clean pages. But me, I struggle on with the old story, hoping that one day it will reveal to me the reason why I thought it was worth the trouble in the first place. Now, this is relevant to those men who want to break up with their girlfriend or they want to leave their wife. This is a very important topic to talk about, and I don't think I've done a video about this before. But I know men who have been stuck in a relationship for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, and throughout that relationship, they've always had this lingering doubt that they should be in a relationship. They've always felt as though they should leave the relationship, and they've never been 100% committed to the relationship. Now, if you want to break up with your girlfriend, there's a reason why you've got this feeling that it's just not working for you. Maybe it's an incompatibility issue. Maybe you just have different personalities, and that's okay. Maybe you just have different senses of humor. Maybe you're not compatible in bed. That is also okay. But the human tendency is to fight it and to fight against this. Because you have this person, you sank so much time into this person, you've created so many memories with this person, it now becomes a sunk cost. And with each passing year, it gets more and more difficult to leave the relationship. I was talking to a viewer the other day who's been in a 5-year relationship with his girlfriend, and he told me that from the very beginning, he always felt as though something wasn't quite right. But there was enough there to keep them together. And then the more time that went by, they had more memories, they had these wonderful moments. And it's a little bit like parenting and the studies they've done into parenting. Parents don't really enjoy raising children. It's not a pleasant experience. Changing diapers, dealing with problems, the child's sick, the child's got the flu, the child's screaming, right? It's not easy to raise a child because you're essentially having to take care of everything. But it's those little moments that make it worthwhile. The first time your child walks, the first time your child speaks. Those are highlights which really stand out and make parenting worthwhile. And it's a little bit like a relationship that is toxic or not very good. You might have 90% bad, but you have those 10% moments which are fantastic, those memories you cling on to. Now, this is a particularly male phenomenon. Men are much more likely to be sentimental, they're much more likely to be nostalgic, and they're much more likely to give more weight to the past than to the present and to the future. Men will think, hey, I've spent 10 years with a woman, 10 years, right? That means something, it has to mean something. Women don't think the same way. Women think, yeah, I spent 10 years with this guy, but right now, right at this very moment, I'm just not feeling it. I remember a viewer once told me that he slipped, cracked his head on the floor, and went into a coma. And his wife was told by the doctor all he needs is a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of affection, and he'll be back on his feet in no time at all. And what does the wife say? I don't care. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I love you if I don't feel it. They'd been married for 15 years. She didn't care. Because in the moment, it didn't matter that he was recovering from a coma, that he'd cracked his head and was in hospital. It was irrelevant. In the moment, she wasn't feeling it. Men are a little bit different. If we're not happy in the present, we give a lot of weight to the past. So that is why it's really, really difficult sometimes to break up with someone you know you should break up with, or you've got this chronic underlying sense of discontent. This guy I spoke to, who'd been with his girlfriend for 5 years, he said he always knew they weren't quite compatible in terms of their personality. What he found funny, she didn't really find funny. And in bed, it just sort of faded out. For the last couple of years, he just wasn't there. You have to know what it is you want in the moment, because if you've been in a relationship for 5 years or 10 years, that person you were when you met your girlfriend is very different to the person you are now. So you don't have to feel as though you owe somebody something just because you've been in a relationship with them for 10 years. You don't owe them because you're a different person at this moment in time. Your wants and needs are very different. Now, let's get into how to break up with a girl you want to break up with. I'm going to talk about this because if you're watching this video, you'll know it's not easy. Sometimes it's very easy. You can't wait to escape, right? You can't wait to escape from a woman. You'll know what I'm talking about, where you've had those situations where you've been dating a woman and you just think, you know what, I can't breathe. I just have to offload this girl. I got to get rid of her. And the sooner I get rid of her, the happier I'm going to be. Then you get these other situations where you're thinking, I want to get rid of her. I want to be away from her, but I don't want to have her out of my life completely. And I'm not sure. And it's a little bit like that joke by that comedian Patrice O'Neill, where he says, you know, men want women around, they just don't want them nearby. They kind of want them far away, right, in the distance. They just want to know that they've got them. They don't really want to be close to them, right? So you can get into those situations where you want to be in a relationship, but you don't want to be around your girlfriend because you still want your freedom. You still want to live your life. You don't feel restricted when you're by yourself, but when you're with your girlfriend, maybe she's controlling, maybe she's restrictive. Maybe she's clingy and it's just suffocating. There's a lot of different reasons why you might want to break up, but how do you break up in a situation like this? I always say, if you're not sure about breaking up and you don't know whether it's the right time, you will eventually get to a point where it becomes so bad you have no choice but to break up. There is no alternative. There just isn't an alternative. You have to break up right now. And that's when you know it's time. If there's a little bit of uncertainty and it's been dragging on for a long time, the woman at some point will say, hey, you know, what's going on? She'll start to put pressure on you, either in terms of progression, having kids, getting married. And when you hit those blocks, it will become natural to say, hey, I don't want to get married, or I don't want to have kids with you, or I don't want to have kids. But the implication is you don't want to have kids with her. And then when she sees this and she feels it, women will just check out. They'll check out very quickly and move on because women don't have time to waste like men. And there's another way to break up, and that's just to be honest about your feelings and to tell a woman about what you're really thinking and feeling, why it's not working for you anymore, and watch her reaction. If she's understanding, that's a very positive sign because this is somebody who you might be able to work with, who might be able to have a future with you. If she has a meltdown, if she gets angry, she just confirms your belief that a breakup was justified. Another thing I'll say when it comes to breaking up with a woman is that the breakup is never the breakup. That's just the beginning. You're going to have to go through a lot of conversations, a lot of talking. Unless you have the strength to break up and block a girl and cut her out of your life and cut communication, it can drag on for months and months and months and months. Right? You don't want to get into that situation. It's much easier to break up if you have a viable, better option. Right? That's another reason why men will break up. Men won't break up if they feel like they don't have any other options. But there's potential, and they know that if they left their girlfriend, they could probably find someone else who's going to be better for them. Why do you think it's so easy for Leonardo DiCaprio to consistently date women under the age of 25? It's because he has 25 women under the age of 25 waiting to replace his current girlfriend. It's very easy just to rotate through different women when you have options. When you don't have options, it's not easy. Because then you have to have the self-belief and self-confidence to know that if I break up with my girlfriend, I can easily get another woman. And not a lot of guys have that self-belief. That ability, as Jung talks about, to see around corners and to look into the future, which is very important for a man. But understand this, if you have a chronic desire to break up and it's always there, permeating just underneath the surface, listen to that voice, because I can guarantee you, if you listen to your instincts and listen to that voice, the moment you break up with your girlfriend or leave your wife, you're going to feel as though this stress, this weight has been lifted off your soul. and you'll feel free and liberated. Now, if you want to know how to break up with a woman and why this is essential for moving forward in life, I highly recommend you get a copy of my new book. You can pick up your copy today by clicking on the link below. And don't forget, I do phone and email consultations. You can book a consultation with me on my website, develofattraction.com.